All right, New York Giants fans, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment from the snowy Northeast, from the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Of course, Lambeau Field is not in the Northeast, but we are having our nor'easter, or whatever they call it, snow for the next couple days. I love it how they have the forecast. At one point says, we are going to have the warmest winter on record. And then all of a sudden, 14 inches of snow. Most snow we've gotten all last year in one day. Well, Lord only knows. Because you know what? Sometimes people just can't figure stuff out. I wanted to talk about two topics today. Well, a couple of topics today. One of the topics I want to talk about is Joe Judge. I really didn't get into Joe Judge's press conference the other day. Only because of the fact that I was thinking about it. And I had to think about it. Joe Judge, I was not a big fan of the Judge hire. And I've kind of... as the season has progressed, I become more and more of a fan of Joe Judge. But there are certain things that he does that, in my mind, defy logic and sometimes are detrimental to the team. And one of the things that he's doing right now is starting Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones is being limited or hampered or put in a systematic disadvantage because of a hamstring injury, he shouldn't play. Daniel Jones is not a pocket passer. I think we know that. I think we've seen that. He's not Eli Manning. He's not going to ride the pocket. He's not going to step up on the ladder. He's not going to move forward, move left, move to the right. No, that's just not Daniel Jones. That's not his game. And Joe Judge came out again and says, if Daniel Jones is healthy to play, and he looked the way he did in practice last week, I have no hesitation of playing Daniel Jones at all. We made a calculation. We have a lot of confidence in Colt McCoy. This has nothing to do with Colt. But there's also a commitment we have made to Daniel as our quarterback and how we're running the offense. Okay. But if he's healthy enough to go out there and protect himself, we don't feel he's putting himself in greater danger toward injury or worse, then he's going to give the team a competitive advantage of going out there. That's when we're going to play him with no hesitation. So they're basically saying they're going to start him against Cleveland. Okay, Joe, you said right there that you are thinking of Jones and the commitment you made to him. The commitment we made to Daniel Jones as our quarterback. How about the commitment that you made to the other guys on the roster? You're fighting for a playoff spot. Oh, you were fighting for a playoff spot. And honestly, if Daniel Jones does not have the ability to move in the pocket or run, he's not an effective quarterback. He's just not. And I think that we have seen this over and over again. And then I love it because when he starts talking about the game and the situations of the sacks, he says there were situations where it came down to they were in good coverage. Joe said, we blocked for a long time. Daniel Jones wasn't going to pull the ball and run in those circumstances yesterday. Some of those were, you can call them coverage sacks, if you want to call them that. But they're all tied together. It's never one person. It's never one thing. It comes down to everyone on the field and the coaches with the plan we put together and the plays we call in each circumstance. Okay, here's the problem. A minute ago, you just said, right now you're saying it's never one person. Okay, but a second ago, you talk about the commitment you made to one person. That doesn't make sense to me. You preach team, and then a few minutes later, you talk about the commitment you made to Daniel Jones. And I said this before. What about the commitment you made to all the other players on that roster? That goes out the window because you made a commitment to Daniel Jones. Which one is it? Obviously, he was not right. Even Strahan and the announcers were talking the fact that at times Jones was holding on the ball for 5-6 seconds. Yeah, you're gonna get sacked. And then I love it because then people are like, well, the wide receivers weren't getting separation. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a minute too. But here's the deal: second half, you're down 20-3 or 20-7, whatever the hell the score was. I was just so flustered by that game. But let's get it accurate. You are down 20-7 in the third quarter. What do you think the Arizona defense is going to do? They are going to take guys out of the box and play the pass. And they already know that we have a quarterback who can't really fully protect himself who is a sitting duck back there. So they are not going to keep extra guys in the box. They may rush 4. They were rushing 4 and 5 at one point in time. They're just going to put extra guys into coverage, which is why at certain points Jason Garrett was running the ball, because he saw the mismatch. The problem was he was running the ball consistently and we were getting consistent gains, and then he switched back to the pass. And when Daniel, and that's what truly did not make any sense to me. But you can't preach it's the team, it's the team, it's the team, and then turn around and says, well, we've made a commitment to this one player. Screw the other guys on the roster. But then when things go bad, you don't blame that one player. You say it's a group failure. That just tells me again, you're protecting Daniel Jones, not from playing, but from the fan base and from the media. And again, I have to wonder at times if Daniel Jones has the intestinal fortitude to play quarterback in New York, because he's always getting protected by the franchise. Eli Manning, they let, even during a rookie season, even going into 2007, they let Eli Manning out to dry. Why? Because of the fact that they knew that Eli Manning was going to be able to take it. And I love it, and then people like to talk about not getting separation. The Giants, the Giants receiving coach basically came out and said, you're not getting the full picture. He goes, yeah, they're not getting open 100% of the time, but they're also not struggling to get as open as badly as people see. When I looked at the tape, I always hear people talk about us. I would think that the receivers and DBs are Siamese twins. They're not. They're out there, they're running their routes, they're getting open a lot of times, but again, give the other guys credit for they get paid to cover. I've seen a lot of times on tape that they were separation, but something was just not Arizona, was just basically not there. Patrick Peterson, 3-time Pro Bowler, he's going to make plays and cover guys. And I love it because according to NFL Next Gen stats is the next stupidest stats next to Pro Football Focus. Because the average yards of separation. The average yards of separation is 3.1 yards of separation, followed by Evan Ingram of 2.9, and Darius Slayton Golden Tate averaging 2.2 yards of separation. These stats are just getting out of control. There were guys that were wide open. That's just being honest. The one play that sticks out of my mind is Wayne Gallman was open on the flat to Daniel Jones' left. Wide open. I mean, wide open. I mean, he could have probably ran for 50 yards. Daniel Jones didn't even look his way. He looked at his first read, and he threw the ball. Incompletion. So, I mean, you can't sit there and tell me all the time. And I love it when fans tell me, wow, they're separation. Where are you getting your knowledge of the separation? Are you getting it from Pro Football Focus? Are you getting it from Next Gen? I'm actually watching film, and like the wide receiver for the Giants, the wide receiver coach for the Giants, I'm looking at the execution of when people are open. A lot of the times it's their ability to execute and the ability of the quarterback to find the open receiver. And sometimes that's just not happening. I get concerned right now in some ways about this franchise because they're making so many excuses why they lost, and none of the excuses fall on the quarterback. They always say quarterback gets too much of the blame and too much of the praise. Too much of the blame when they lose, too much of the praise when they win. But right now, Daniel Jones only gets praise. And that is a scary proposition to think about. And the fact that Joe Judge is basically saying, if he shows what he showed in practice, he's going to start. That's scary, Joe. Because of the commitment that you made to him. That's not making a commitment to the other guys on the roster. You are trying to, as screwed up as 2020 is and how we thought weeks ago there would be no potential for us making the playoffs, we literally had a legitimate shot in making the playoffs. Good or bad, right or wrong or indifferent, we are playing competitive football in December for a playoff spot, and you are not putting the team at the best chance to win the game. A healthy Daniel Jones, yes, is better than Colt McCoy, but evidently he is not healthy. So put Colt McCoy. Nobody gave the Giants credit or gave them a chance to win in Seattle, except for me. But you won. Why? Because you played defense and you played ball control offense. If you look at the time of possession in the Seattle game, there was only an 11-second difference between Seattle and the Giants. Seattle had the ball only for 11 seconds more. In the Seattle game, the Cardinals game, it was the Cardinals that dominated the clock. And that's what caused us to lose the game. And Daniel Jones' inability, if he can't run, he is useless to us because he is not a pocket passer. He is not Eli. He's not Peyton. Hell, he's not Phil Simms. He can't sit in that pocket, look down the field, and make the correct decisions because I don't think he processes it fast enough. It's his ability to run which gives the Giants offense life. And the problem is he doesn't have sprinter speed. He has what I refer to as downhill speed. Once he gets going, he's going. But he's not a gazelle. I can't remember if it's a rhino. I think it's a rhino. And rhinos are quick. Rhinos are fast, evidently. But rhinos take time to build up speed. So he's not a cheetah. He's a rhino. So he takes time to get going. But once he gets going, he's going. Except when he falls down in the middle of the field, 3 yards from the end zone. But that's what his game is predicated on. So you make him a pocket passer, you're making Daniel Jones what he's not. Kyler Murray is a guy that moves around the pocket well. He is. I would not call Kyler Murray a pocket passer because of the fact that he needs to play in the spread offense. While he does have a lot of throws in the pocket, a lot of his plays are designed rollouts and moving the pocket, basically having a floating pocket. But he has the ability to see. A guy that's 4'9" has a better ability to see the open field, downfield, than Daniel Jones does from the pocket. And that's worrisome. My thing is, Joe, you have to put team first. And the comment when you say that you made a commitment to Daniel Jones is not putting the team first. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could subscribe, if you could ring that bell, you know what that means, that'd be awesome.